Ho ho ho, merry times everybody. It's the start of summer and this week we've had a Christmas episode of My Hero Academia. Way! So I hope you're having a great day or night, wherever it is that you're listening to this from, be that, in the middle of summer like me, or maybe around Christmas time itself. I hope you have a great time, whatever it is you're doing, and if you would be so kind, please give this video a like, give a subscribe. A big thank you to everyone who did so last week. It is very important to support your local small content creators, as it will always do them a power of good. You've got to feed the algorithm these days, ladies and gentlemen, especially bearing in mind YouTube is being very silly at the moment, and they're doing yet another profile purge. So, your favourite YouTuber might lose a few subscriptions, might lose a few likes, so, you've got to support them as best as you can. Whether they are big or small, give the next video you watch a like. It will do them an amazing power of good. Now, on with the review. So yeah, it's the middle of summer and we're having a Christmas episode. Granted, in the grand scheme of things, it's not the most Christmassy of Christmas episodes that there's ever been, but you know what? It's put me in a festive mood, though, to be honest with you, that just might be the chemicals from the injection I've just had. And despite me thinking otherwise, there has been some major plot developments in this week's episode, especially towards the end of it, though we'll get onto that just shortly. This episode kicked off with Tomura and possibly his goons levying part of a small town, which when I saw it had me like, oh no! Because naturally this means Tomura's got some kind of major power boost that is now becoming a massive problem for our heroes going forward. His power was always one that I always found terribly insidious and creepy. The fact that he can just make stuff rot and decay away from the mere touch of his hand, and now he seems to be able to do it almost remotely at a distance. The days when he could just stand well back and just shoot him with laser beams and chuck rocks at him seem to be coming to an end now. Maybe that's what happened, maybe it isn't, maybe we'll find out in a few episodes' time, but here and now, him and his goons are starting to look like more and more of a credible threat, which is very alarming for the stuff that we've got coming up going forward. Honestly, I am just surprised how little Christmassy stuff there was actually within this episode itself, that all that kind of stuff was just really pushed right to the very end of the episode. But of course I will get onto that in just a moment. And again, I am surprised just how much deeper, more plot establishment stuff there actually was in this episode. Again, I thought it was just going to be a little bit fluffy, but this is an episode which is pretty much not just only setting up the next arc, but also setting up stuff that might itself not be realised in the TV show for another 2 or 3 years. It's stuff that's only just now come into effect in the manga itself, but of course we'll discuss those things when they come up. The first major plot point, aside from Tomura getting some kind of super boost to his powers, is the fact that the internship is coming back. It wasn't really something I was actually expecting to come back, and I'm not terribly keen on seeing it back, if I'm perfectly honest with you, dear listener. I understand the rationale as to why it's being brought back, both in terms of the world itself and the story, but I do kind of dislike how little academia we're actually seeing within My Hero Academia. I do enjoy the hero school stuff, it's one of my favourite elements of the show, and it's something that I always find fun whenever I see it, but it's not really the focus of the show, which is something which, yeah, different strokes of different folks, and I really don't want to see them just doing tests all the time, but, at this point it's pretty much just another superhero show. A very good superhero show, but still a superhero show nonetheless. I really do find it amazing, though, the rationale as to why the internship stuff is coming back again within the world itself. The government is running low on heroes, so they're conscripting kids to fill the gaps. They're essentially just grabbing kids off the street that are learning to be heroes and just throwing them into the heat of battle, hoping that they're going to be able to deal with whatever professional villains end up coming their way. It's kind of dark when you really think about it, especially bearing in mind that some of the pro heroes like Best Genius have been defeated or just gone missing recently. Just makes it all feel like an incredibly desperate move from the government of this country, Japan in this version of the world, that they're just throwing kids out as like soldiers right now. It is really terrifying, fascinating, but at the same time, I do wish we'd seen a little bit more of the desperation starting to build. Right now, it just feels like, okay, so, alright, we've had all the fun stuff, now all the deep and heavy stuff started. Oh, what deep and heavy stuff? Well, basically, we've lost all our heroes and we need to put the kids out there. Oh, really? What happened? Villain stuff. Are we going to see the villain stuff? Maybe, maybe not. Like, it seems to be that a lot of stuff has been happening in the background here, which we've had hints of here and there, but it was always just flavour stuff. It was never stuff that was so severe that they'd need to do something like this. But hey ho, maybe we'll see a little bit more of it. This show does like its flashbacks, and you never know, we might see a little bit coming forward, but we'll soon see about it. I will remain open-minded about all the internship stuff, however, because whilst I didn't hate it the first time around, it was something where it just felt like, right, we need to just cut away as much of our extended cast as possible just to focus it down on Midoriya, which, yeah, it is his story at the end of the day, but, you know, I do like our cast of characters. They're very fun, they're enjoyable, but you know what? We'll just have to see where it goes. Like I say, I am fascinated by it because it speaks to a level of desperation within the world itself that we just really haven't seen thus far, and it's stuff that I would like to see explored more, and hopefully we will get to see that as we go forward. It feels like the hero world itself is slowly fracturing and falling apart around us, but we're not really seeing it fall. We're just now seeing large chunks of plaster falling from the proverbial ceiling, not really seeing the cracks of firing in the first place. Granted, that analogy might not work, I don't know. I've just had a jab for an infectious illness, and I'm kind of rambling now, but we'll move on. One thing that did, and I don't know if it pissed me off or not, but the whole thing about the mole in UA, this plot point that's been hanging over our heads now for the past few years, it's just seemingly just been resolved. I don't know if this is just them, like, poo-pooing it, just pushing it to the side so they can reflect upon it later and actually then address it, or this is just them sweeping it under the rug because the writer wants to neaten things up so that it can do other things. Like, it feels like it should have been a major moment when the mole in UA was dun-dun-dun, whoever. But it just hasn't. It's just kind of been, right, we don't need to worry about the mole in UA anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. You know, I was planning on doing a video about it, so maybe there's a little bit of butt hurt there that I'm not going to be able to make it and be one of the 200 people that have also made a video on it. But, you know, it just feels like a wasted opportunity. Again, they might do something with it in the future. I really don't know. A lot is in play here. A lot is still in flux. And even then, as I've said in the past, there's a good chance that the person who is the mole might not know it. That they might be being secretly manipulated, or one for all for one is using some kind of power to see through them or something. We really don't know, and I hope that we do know, because I don't want this to just be a plot point to just get shrugged under the carpet and then just treated like it was nothing, but we'll soon find out. And finally, I just have to say, I loved the Christmas stuff. I just thought it was really fun, really funny, and really adorable. Eri in her Santa costume was just so heckin' adorable. It was unreal. Like, when she came in and she just said, "Trick or treat, oh, here's some Easter eggs," and stuff. That was just so adorable and so cute. It was lovely. Just, I loved the entire moment with all of them together. And of course, you know, I liked the bit where Bakugo's looking at the tablet and he's seeing that Best Genius has gone missing whilst all this is going on. A nice little balance of the light and dark. It really does make a scene like that really work. Something is fun, and of course, as we find out towards the end of this episode, like the last great hurrah for them seemingly of having a good time around anything. Like, the big plot point, the big thing to take away from this episode is the fact they're setting stuff up effectively for something that won't be addressed for possibly a good 2 or 3 years in the anime, and something that's only just coming into effect now within the manga. The manga is in its final run. Well, not quite the final run, but it's in its final saga. The last few arcs are starting to appear now. So that means that, you know, for people like us who are watching it mostly as an anime, we're going to get everything spoilt between now and when we see it on TV. But you know what? That is a thing that we'll address when we come to it. And of course, one more little criticism of the episode. I was really expecting All Might to show up just as Father Christmas. And I'm really upset he didn't. Alright, not upset. Upset's the wrong word for it, but I was hoping and looking forward to actually seeing him there dressed as Father Christmas. Maybe I missed a post-credit thing. Maybe there was some kind of artwork of him dressed up like that in the manga. I don't really know. But you know what? It was a fun episode. It was really interesting, and I do like some of the things that he's setting up. Even if, again, I'm not entirely keen on the idea of the internship stuff coming back. You know, I'll take it, because the truth of the matter is this show has never really set me wrong. I've never really had an arc or a story bit where I've not enjoyed it, so we'll just see how it goes. But what about you, dear listener? Did you enjoy this week's episode of my I'm sure you understood what I said there, but we'll continue on. Did you enjoy this week's episode of My Hero Academia? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and be sure to like, favourite, subscribe, click the bell, and do all the YouTube stuff that YouTube wants you to do. That is all from me. I'm starting to feel the effects of the injection now. Thank you, and see you next time. Goodbye! Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, favourite, subscribe, click the bell and do all the YouTubey stuff that YouTube wants you to do. Go on, it'll do me a power of good. Until next time, my friends, goodbye!